Okay. Hello, everyone watching this. You're watching Journey of a Question. We just started out without recording this, and which is why both of us have this glee, and I'm glad we have this glee because why not? Uh, yeah, you're watching Journey of a Question. This is yet another episode, and today with me I have Abhinav Dar. Abhinav Dar is a quizzer, quizmaster par excellence, and I had the fortune of meeting with Abhinav when he was here for his masters in Ahmedabad for a couple of years, and we had the chance of co-setting one quiz for AQC. And yeah, the one question that I'm bringing to you is my favorite from the lot of what he did at Ahmedabad and other places. So that's my favorite question of what Abhinav has said. So we will sit down and dissect the journey of that question, and then go to a couple of other questions that Abhinav has selected for us to sit down and discuss. So that being said, welcome Abhinav. Thanks for doing this, and a quick hello to the audience, please.
Yeah, hi guys. Abhinav here. Hopefully you will watch the other episodes of this of the series. I'm really excited myself to not just be a part of this, but watch the other how other quiz masters think. So it's a really nice concept that Jalas has come up with. So yeah, let's get the show started.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. Here is the question. To put context, this is a question that was part of 300 or less that Abhinav I and Naveen Rajaram had co-set. So here's my favorite question from that set. Abhinav, take it on.
Yeah. So I'll read the question first. So one of the six desks to be ever used in the Oval Office is the incumbent Resolute desk, which was a gift from Queen Victoria to President Hayes in 1879. So it did not originally have the panel that you see open here. So for what reason was it put in the mid of the last century, right? So so this is one of the questions in the finals that we had in the quiz, right? And so the Resolute desk was fashioned out of the decommissioned ship of the British Navy, Royal Navy, which is called the HMS Resolute, which is where it gets its name from. And if you look at the question, it's quite workable, even though we had the restriction of 300 characters. So it is mid of the last century, right? So it's not, it's 1940s to early 1960s, probably, right? So that is the timeline that we had our participants focus on, right? And just think of if somebody is sitting on the desk, how it would look and for what purpose it would look like, right? I'm sure
Fantastic.
Jalas remembers this answer, right?
I do, and we'll give them like 3 seconds. Then we give them the answer, and then we go about discussing about the question because the essential part is how you got here, and not for them to get time and work this
Crack
out.
it.
So yeah, please give up the answer, and then we can get start. We can start talking about it.
Yeah. So when this desk was there, the panel obviously was not there. But in the middle of the last century, FDR came into power as the U.S. president, and during his tenure as the president, he contracted polio, obviously, and he had to do a lot of his work through a wheelchair, and his feet were obviously, uh, disfigured, if you may.
Immobile,
And
more
for
so.
that reason, sorry.
Immobile. Yeah, just,
Yeah, he became immobile, and basically just to hide that,
yeah.
uh, they felt it necessary to add this panel in so that he had that kind of a comfort sitting behind the desk.
All right. So here's the deal. How do you start going about it, like when you come across something like this? Okay, uh, two questions. First up, how important do you think is to put an image here and then go about the question, or rather in a rather different question, how else could you have done this question?
Okay, so I'll tell you where I got this funda from.
Sure.
So I was watching this film, Treasure. What is the name? Nicholas Cage wala.
Treasure,
National
national
Treasure.
treasure,
National
national
Treasure.
treasure.
Correct. So National Treasure one had this kind of a funda, and which is where I picked it from. But obviously, there's a lot of research that goes behind it,
Sure.
and it did not. I don't remember it saying about the FDR thing. It was just talking about the Resolute desk and how obviously there was a clue to what they were finally finding. I don't remember the movie exactly. So that is how I got the question. You research upon that, And when I started researching, I found that this panel was added due to FDR uh, trying to hide his polio, right? And I felt it necessary to add these images, the image here in picture, is because I always want a participant to visualize exactly what is happening,
Correct.
right? I So without this image, many quizzes may already know what the Oval Office desk look like, but for maybe newer quizzes or quizzes who are just learning the whole process, I feel it doesn't decrease anything for the better quizzes, but it helps the newer quizzes into getting into the thought process of what exactly they can do with the image in hand. Here, for example, the two children, they are, I think, JFK's children, if I remember, mid 60s, early
Right.
60s. And obviously, that is after FDR had gone out of power. And the image, I remember having a lot of images, but I chose this one exactly because it showed how it looked, or if the panel is open, how it look exactly, uh, if you look through it, and why a panel would be necessary. So all those thought processes can come into the picture if you are a quizzer who is looking at the picture, uh, as in the picture itself, right? And
That
what was
is
the other
one.
thing you asked me?
The other
Yeah.
thing I think is also like when you have this picture wherein two kids can fit inside it, you're also trying to, uh, you know, uh, emphasize on the cavity and the extent of
Correct.
that cavity. So if two kids can fit in there, there's something more than just a secretive panel that has to be there. So you're ruling out
Correct.
that possibility and making it a slightly more functional thing, because if it has to be a POTUS, it could very well be on those lines, and that were the frequent guesses that we had gotten, to
Yes.
have some secret button or some secret weapon or some such. But the cavity was so big, because if something secretive had to be done, something cooler, something much more uh, you know not visual could have been done. So I think
Yeah.
that's also, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that you talk about the image selection, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. And for some pro max person, if at all they identify this is JFK's kids, that also helps reconfirm the timeline, is what I feel. So when
Correct.
you
Correct.
you put in an abundance of hints. First off, when you start off with the choice of your image. Secondly, when you say middle of the last century, you're not exactly giving it away, but you're not holding back any hints. So I think it's again all about reaching that sweet spot wherein you don't give too much, but just enough for them to whack their brains when they either crack it or don't. So it's all, I think it's beautiful about, it's beautiful that you try to maintain that sweet spot each time. So is
I
there is
think
there
the
yeah.
Yeah, I think the format itself, that you had to concise is, I think there was a lot of compression with the questions, right? Otherwise, I would have written Oval Office, White House, uh, or US President Hayes, right? But all of those things, it kind of maintains the brevity, and that helps in a question like this. And for that, the image was important also. That an image like this is important to add because the question is quite precise, but you need that kind of a visual aspect to get into it, or just as a starting point, probably. Then you can add the other things into it and then get to the answer.
Which is fair, because when you think about it, it also helps that you're not asking for you're asking them to get their basic knowledge in place, and then build on that. Essentially, the newer thing to learn would be FDR struggle with polio and so on, but you take it a step further where you don't stop at something about FDR and polio, which is my thought process when I was thinking about how you could have gone about it. But it was interesting to learn how you picked on Resolute, uh, like a passing reference to Resolute desk in that movie, and then possibly paused the movie to go check Resolute desk, otherwise you would forgotten
I
about it
mean,
later.
I mean
Huh.
that is a tendency that most of us quizzes have, right? If we find
Don't
something really interesting,
Yeah,
that I think like we go up, look it up, and I think
fair.
a 2 hour film becomes a 4 hour film because of that.
I
That
once
we
made a
go up.
comic about it. I will link it and I will also share it with you. It's crazy how we do that, and I'm almost tired of it. At least people who I watch movies with are tired with, so I can't do that anymore. But that's
Yeah,
true.
you have to Shazam some songs sometimes. You have to go for some, yeah, some references, go for some references, something interesting comes up. I mean, a film like National Treasure obviously has a lot of alternate funda also, but this really stuck out because this has a holding in reality and it comes from fact, not fiction itself.
Would you would you would you be okay doing this without a without an image, or could you think about, or can you now think about doing this without an image?
I don't think I would ever do it even if I remake this question without knowing anything about it. I think I would gravitate towards an image because for me, even if the image it doesn't help sometimes, I mean, I randomly because I find that a lot of quizzes become text heavy, and for me, it is necessary to add images, even if you know that a person that you have talked about in the question maybe
Right.
people won't know of it, but it's just that it becomes a break for me. I mean, I because it's a personal choice again. I
Sure.
like images. I find something or the other of relevance. Maybe his ethnicity would give me some kind of a help. Maybe the timeline or the photograph or the painting, the timeline I would be able to crack, and that kind of narrows it down for me a lot of times. And I think I add images because of that. Maybe it's a personal choice. Maybe it's not useful to everybody, and maybe I don't, as a quizmaster, I don't inform the participant of what exactly you should be looking at.
That is
And
one.
for
Yeah.
me, yeah, I think I want them to think, and I always want them to think, why would a quizmaster put even one word there, right?
Extra. Yeah.
Why would he, yeah, even an image? I mean, he would have thought about it for about 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and then put it or removed it, right? I mean, obviously, we are still learning about quiz making, but this is the process that I like to follow personally.
This is very interesting because I see a very nuanced insight here, wherein you say you want the quizzer to give the quizmaster enough credit to have put
Yes,
something there for
yes,
some sake. It's not there for no reason. So if you've spent time doing something, but I also think it could go either way. Like, is it too much to expect? I don't know how fair that is, but as much as I like images and I want more people to put more images, even if the question or the image has nothing to do with the image, it just helps you contextualize who that person is, just in case your memory has faded about them or some such. It just helps. So I'm on board with that, but it's a very nuanced food for thought, if I may. That you expect the quizzer to give you enough credit to have put something there. Uh, and have put some thought behind putting it there. So
I mean,
that's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
well put. Yeah, well put. But I think in addition to that, once it's about, I mean, people say know your QM. That's not just specific to the genre that a quizmaster likes, right? A good quizmaster would be very conscious of the fact that he or she has to diversify the number of genres, right? So even if I'm weak in a particular genre, like India, I'm not very good at, but I try to keep 15 to 20% of my quizzes as India, and I put more effort in those questions, right? And for me to, for the participant to understand that I won't, it won't just be about the pet topics that this person likes, the quizmaster likes. It'll be about much more than that, and the things that he or she would have found over time. And to give credit to the quizmaster, as you said, right, is the fact that they would have thought about, as in a good quizmaster, a good and a better quizmaster. There's the difference that they think about each thing, right? And even one word is not out of place if they have the time for it. Obviously, we sometimes make questions at the last minute, and that sometimes lengthens the question. That is alternate. But if a quizmaster has put in a couple of hours or 3 hours into the same question, you know that they would have placed each word there with a thought in mind,
Consciously.
and
Sure.
obviously the images, the selection of images, obviously very important.
With the wording of the question, it's so concise. There's nothing going haywire, but there's only one possible altercation that I would think of. And when you say for what reason, and not for whom or for who
Yeah,
was this, so I want to understand if this was a conscious choice that you had made, or is it just how you normally phrase your questions?
I mean, I don't remember the actual process, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking right now. So
Sure.
what happens with me is I try to cater to the audience, to the audience.
Sure.
Uh, if it's a school quiz, I probably would have written whom, right?
Got it.
Because then you know that you have to think of maybe 4 5 people and know additional bit of information about them that FDR had polio.
Got it.
But because it was an open quiz and it was a finals level question, I I think I remember this fact that I didn't put that, or that thing that it didn't cross my mind that I'd write it as whom,
Because it
because
was an
that will
open
make it
quiz.
too easy.
Sure.
Yeah, and that will make it too easy
This is the
for
nugget.
for that.
This is the nugget of gold that is the reason why I do this, because I think this is my biggest takeaway from you dissecting the question for me. So I think thank you for the last bit, as of course for the entire journey. But I think the last bit is my biggest takeaway, and for everybody else watching this too. With that being said, let's go to the other questions. I'm really excited for those as well.
Okay,
Right.
so just a bit of background again. So this question was in Connaught Place, which is uh, Connaught Place or Oktoberfest. I don't remember the name of the fest it was because it changed hands, changed names during. So it was like 2017 or 2018.
Right.
Should be 2018 because I was giving my MBA interviews. And this was part of setting a Cybistech quiz with two co-QMs again, Rabin Jacob and Srinath sir, Shrikant sir from Delhi Quiz Club. And this is one of my favorite questions in the quiz because I think I made this not too long before the quiz was about to take place, uh, like about midnight before the quiz, and the quiz would start in about 10 hours. And Rabin said, "This is a really nice question. Let's put it as the last question, as in this is one of my favorite questions." Right? I'll read the question, then we'll get to it.
Sure.
So the chromacity diagram, which is the image, maps the range of colors the human eye can see. Based on the chromacity diagram, it is clear that the color green is the most important, which means that we can see more shades of green color than any other. So this was the prime reason for a particular choice in the mid 1930s invention, which was made use by German tanks and infantry during the Second World War. So what choice? So we'll go back to the previous conversation that we had about knowing your audience, right? This is obviously a Delhi Quiz Club open level question.
Sure.
So there are a lot of different things. I mean, it does say only what choice, right? It does not give you any hint towards what exactly I'm looking at, right?
That is number
But
one.
if you
Not even
correct,
the format of the answer, which is like what reason, again boils down to the same thing.
correct,
Here
correct.
you're even narrowing down the scope of somebody getting to the correct area. You're not even leading them to the sector, let alone the street.
Correct. And again, I chose this image again, which is very important to be in this context because
Correct.
the image is a very, very big clue. You can see a lot of green in the whole chromacity diagram, right? And the range of colors you see, right? So you go back to 1930s. I mean, obviously you don't know what exactly you're thinking right now, but if you think about what the question is saying or for what the first paragraph is talking about, it's talking about the fact that you are seeing something, right? So it's a invention that you're using your sight for, right? And it was made used by German tanks and infantry during the Second World War. So it has to do something with warfare, right? So that is another clue towards what kind of things you can think about, right? Now, when you think about the green color, I'm saying it gives a wider spectrum of green color than any other, right? And right at this point, we'll give our viewers about 5 seconds to think about it.
Sure. Should I go to the answer
Yeah,
slide?
yeah, go for it. So this is why night vision goggles have everything green, right? So if you have green in your night vision goggles, you can make out more shadows, more contours, more dimensions using the green. Had they done it with red, they would have much lesser spectrum to look at.
Sure.
And because it had to only be that one color that they could use, and this chromacity diagram, or the fact that you could see most range, most uh, the shades of green in that, and this was the main reason why night vision goggles have the green color which come into it.
So I think what my larger takeaway from this entire question is, when you put context, then you uh, discuss it, and then you put a question. So I don't know if it's a conscious choice, but this format is something that I have also heard from our friend Vyom. So we were sitting down discussing a question with him, and he said his standard approach to any sort of formation is context, discussion, and question. So this is just a perfect textbook example of how a context, discussion, and question happens. So when you say you had made it abundantly clear that it is about the human eye and what it can see, is from the get-go. Said this is what a human eye can see. Then you come down to your discussion, and while all of this is happening, you always have the picture by your side, which is a constant, which is like ye to hai hi hai. This is the basis of all our discussion, start to the end. So I think it's very it's textbook. People don't see the method behind the seeming madness that goes around, and in the 5 minutes that the quiz question appears on the screen and is over, there's some 20 minutes of brainstorming that has been done behind that, some 20 minutes more discussion that has happened with two other guinea pigs or your co-setters or so on. So it's, again, this entire effort is to bring out uh, that beautiful journey, as we call it, and to show other people and to encourage other people to take up quiz setting, in a sense. So yeah, please enlighten me about the other conscious choices that you've made throughout the question.
uh, I don't remember any other thing because this was made in slightly bit more hurry, maybe in half an hour
Sure.
or so. Because I learned of this fact through some journal or something, I don't remember. And I thought that if I frame it well enough, it'll be a good question, right? But the co-QMs, they saw it. I mean, they really liked it. And I sometimes it happens that you are making a question as a solo QM and you don't have guinea pigs, so you don't have them responding to the same thing, right? You would probably place this in the middle of a quiz, but the fact that they are uh, giving a instant feedback, right?
Understood.
What happens is then you feel that okay, I didn't realize that this is such a good question, right? And they said, as in Ravin, as I said that this question should go in the end because it's such a good question. And in that moment you're only thinking of the question, you're not thinking about how it will impact the audience or what a participant may think after they have learned of the answer. And the reason why this question is one of my favorites also, through whatever number of years I've been making questions, is that I was not there on the venue in the venue during the quiz. I had some MBA interview that day and I couldn't be part of the as in one of the presenters. But when I asked one of my friends what was his favorite question, he pointed at it out, and I hadn't even told him
It was your question or
that
whatever.
I had made this. So he said this was his favorite question, and which is why I made. Without being there, that was the only feedback that I could get from them.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you when you're sitting there, you measure your verbal hints
Yeah, I'm
depending on
sure
the
in most of your communication is non-verbal. Like, you'd have
correct.
claps, and you'd have smirks, and you'd have whatnot, like disappointment and high fives and whatnot. So sure,
And yeah, verbal, I mean, oh wow, or something like that, obviously. and
definitely.
and you give verbal clues depending on how the participants faces look or how they're
On
reacting
the go. Your most decisions
on the
happen
go.
on the
Yeah,
go.
yeah. And I normally find it, I mean, I know what when a question would be difficult, and I in my mind, I if I don't put that to word, I mean, on the PPT, I think of a additional clue that I would give if there is a moment that there are no pounces or people seem clueless, or maybe I've
Presenter
maybe
notes is what you go in with.
Yeah, it's like mental present
Mental
control,
present,
pretty much.
mental
Yeah,
notes. Yeah.
mental. I mean, because I have read the question, so I
Sure.
mean, I have read the whole thing, so I know
Sure.
exactly what is going on. So
Sure.
that additional clue, I see it prudent to be ready with that beforehand. And had I been in the quiz, maybe I would have given something like that. But because people, I mean, again, couple of people said that this was their favorite question and they liked it. I felt the feedback that okay, maybe this was a question I didn't feel as good as the other people felt it to be, and maybe the framing on that in that moment it became very good. I mean, right?
Got it.
You
Context
don't
again.
always get it in, yeah, again, context. You don't always get the best framing out of yourself out of yourself at all times, but maybe in this half an hour I was in a space where I knew exactly what I was doing, and that maybe became a part of me, and it was a subconscious maybe a decision to choose this because I again remember, as I said with the last question, that I had a lot of chromacity diagrams, but this in particular caught my
Showed
eye
a lot
because
of green.
of the frame of the greenness of it caught my eye, and I chose this image again out of I mean the choice that I made
So
was
again,
because of
goes
that.
on to talk at length about the decision time taken to arrive even at a relevant image. So that is one thing. The other thing is again, like you said, and is continuous in this question as well. When you say what choice and leave it at that. Uh, Ideally, let's have you do a little exercise and give you about 5 to 7 seconds and just the conclusive question that you would put in case this was a school quiz.
Firstly, I would not have it in a school quiz at all
Okay,
because this is slightly too tough for a school quiz. And maybe
sure.
I'll change the whole framing if I want to. But I personally know where a question will
Probably a
go.
college quiz. Let's go to
Yeah,
a college.
college quiz, I would put it.
Sure.
Then I would say, like, what visual choice probably? Because again, you're saying 5 7 seconds. I have to think.
Again, goes on
Again,
to talk about how much time Abhinav puts into it, which is why he's just like, oh, I'm what is 5 seconds?
yeah,
This is I take a lot of
yeah,
time to make
yeah.
my
I
conscious
do take
choices.
a lot
I
of
know, I
time.
know, I know.
I mean, it
Very
would have been
meticulous.
something like I would have said that this is a certain visual choice in a particular invention, right? But
You
again,
would give
invention
technology,
is written
invention are
correct.
the words that you
Technology
would.
or invention, or yeah, or obviously a paryayavachi word of invention or something like that, and that would make the question easier. I will ask them to think of I mean, again, verbal clues. If you're saying, think of the fact that what you use your eyes for, which would be used in warfare or wars in particular.
Right. So more
And
hints to lead them to the sector or the
correct, correct,
lane.
correct. And sometimes you don't even know the participants which would be there, and you are like, maybe I'll keep this clue to myself right now, and I'll
I'll
probably say that verbally.
explode as and when
I,
I see necessary.
yeah, yeah. I think Kushan calls it performing the question,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that his aspect of performing the question is a lot more than mine. Like to have about 80% of what I want to say
right.
in the text, and the remaining is obviously either you jump to that conclusion or I say something about it.
Fantastic. We will go to the last question, and here's the question. Abhinav?
Right, so there is a video for this also. We'll read the question first, and this is part of Oktoberfest 2019, uh, 2018, sorry, 2018 Oktoberfest. Again, this was part of travel and living quiz, right? So, so there's this temple in this title track of Dhadak, which is in Amer, which is present day in Jaipur, right? And was built during these years by Queen Kanakpati, wife of Raja Man Singh, in the memory of their son Jagat Singh. The temple is dedicated to two deities, and according to the head priest, the statue is one of them. Is the same statue that the other used to worship. Right? So this makes this temple probably the only example of a particular pair of deities having a temple dedicated to them. So who are the dual deities here? So if you go to the video, maybe play the first 10 seconds also, that will be okay. this temple, right? So inside there are a couple of deities there. Yeah, that'll be okay, I suppose. I mean,
ठीक है.
it again repeats itself pretty much.
Sure.
So the temple that you saw there, right? Okay, I'll tell you why this is one of my favorite questions again, right? So we went to, this is again part before I started my MBA. After I had done my interviews, I had gone to Jaipur with my parents, and I saw this temple when we went to visit the Amer Fort. And this is what the Pandit himself told us about, that this is probably the only place on the planet which has this dual deity. And when I came back, or just after before the quiz was to be made, I saw this video on Dhadak and I was like, oh no, I was at home, I remember. I'll tell you why. I saw this video on Dhadak and I was like, यार देखा देखा लग रहा है. And I went to my mother, मम्मी यार ये तो वही temple है ना जहाँ हम गए थे. And it turned out to be that. I mean, within a span of 3 to 4 months, it became like a Bader Meinhof of sort, but slightly elongated mile.
Sure.
And to me, I mean, I was stunned for about 5-6 seconds because it's not like it's a very famous temple like everybody would go Akshardham or Taj Mahal or whatever. I mean, it's a spot. It's a very secluded spot. Not many people. Even when we went, there were only one other visitor, which was in that half an hour came into the place. And I was like, this has to be made a question. And obviously, we were doing a travel and living quiz, and what he said was not all correct. And he was talking about the Battle of Haldighati and how this changed hands during the time and all of that. But I think the timeline was off for him. Right. He said that there became a mosque for a short while. And I couldn't find a reference to that, so I didn't add that to the question. So again, fact checking comes into the picture.
Yeah, so the incentive was कि अगर कहीं धुआं है, if he's saying something, there must be like there's some modicum of truth in the entire story. Like it's not completely, so which is what was your incentive behind like reading more about it or whatever.
Yes, and when he talked about it, it was really interesting. My mother and I were there. My father was somewhere else. And we were talking to the priest or the head pandit, and my mom was obviously talking to him, and he just started talking about this, and I was like, this is really interesting. I have to note this down. I mean, as I said, as quizmaster or as quizzes, you do note it down, and it's not just for yourself. It's like you think that it has it could become a question in the future, and you do that. Yeah, Jalaj, you were saying something.
Yeah, so my only angle here is the fact that you said you noted down is, it sounds ridiculous at first, but then as and when you said the number of quizzes that you probably said, it's almost imperative that you keep noting things down, because we often overestimate the power of human memory, and you'd probably not come across this had you not noted it down.
Yes. So for a long time, I mean, it happens that if I find something this interesting, I say that मतलब एक खुजली सी होती रहती कि इसका क्वेश्चन कब बनेगा या कब क्विज आएगा जब मैं इसको प्रेजेंट कर पाऊंगा या ये पता नहीं कोई और पूछ ले या कुछ नहीं और whatever. I mean, multiple different factors. And for that reason, I try to, I mean, अगर कुछ information मिली जितनी जल्दी हो सके उस क्विज में डाल दो or whatever it may be. And this is one of those instances कि ऐसा हुआ, and I felt it necessary कि, I mean, it was a good opportunity in a travel and living quiz to put this, right? And of course, because I said India questions are very light for me, this is again a very good opportunity to do that. Right? If you go to the question, you will see that the temple is dedicated to 2 deities, right? And according to the head priest, right? Again, this is what the head priest said, and again, there's no cited source for that. Right? And which is why that phrase comes into the picture. The statue of one of them is the same statue that the other used to worship, right? So now it becomes a very easy question of sorts. I think this was one of the easier questions in the finals.
We'll go to the answers.
You see the timeline. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So this is obviously the Meera Krishna temple. Probably the only Meera Krishna temple in the world.
On a very
Normally you get
light
Radha Krishna.
note, I'm glad you could take a picture because more often than not, you have these guards at temples asking you not to not take pictures and so on. Yeah, but
I mean,
that's on
this
a
was a very small temple. That is,
yeah, like you
I
said,
mean,
there was nobody there, so fair enough.
nobody there. Absolutely, yeah. It was. I mean, we talked to the priest and his son, and
Hmm.
their whole family lived in that the premise itself,
Right.
premises itself. So if you go back to the question, I'll kind of explain how to get to it.
Yeah.
So if you look at the timeline, right, the fact that it says Amer, you know the general area that it is happening, right? The timeline is again very important to this question.
Context again.
Context
Building on
again,
that. Yeah.
correct. uh, Probably the only example that is a trivia of sorts, but that builds the excitement for me, right? You could not have that question, that sentence there, right? But for me, that brings in an excitement to the question. That as a participant, you think that, "Arey, ye to ek hi hai." I mean, this question is again context pretty much. That this is there for a reason, right? This is a trivia that I didn't know, and obviously the second paragraph is the biggest hint that the Krishna murti that you see was the one that Meera actually apparently used to worship at that point
Right.
in time. And then when she passed away or when she became part of the folklore, her statue was added to Krishna's. And this is probably the only of its kind in the old world.
Fantastic. So I think here you're also trying out like riddles of sort. Like it's not exactly a riddle to say, but in a sense, like like it's the same. When you say this in isolation without the whole context, it does sound like a riddle. So like statue of one of them is the same statue that the other used to worship. It's also that. So it's pretty interesting. But I'll take you back to like 3 minutes where you said एक खुजली सी होती रहती है whenever you find something. You're like, I'll put this in a manner that's not been done. Because we all want to sort of strive for that best question or that best quiz, and that's very nice of most people who have that trait. But again, that uh, sort of leads me to another school of thought in itself, wherein you have some people who would hoard fundas. They would hoard it for months and probably years. And
I
good
am one
quiz
of them.
master. Yeah, no, as in, you're not exactly like when you say you want to put it out there, not hoarding as in not documenting
Okay,
everything.
that
That's
way.
not that sense. In a sense, hoarding in a sense that they will preserve words is the word that I was looking for. So they
Okay,
would like
that.
keep it, and after the entire context of it, more the statement is more relevant in terms of if a recent happening or an event, and then you go down a year and then do that same question that you could have done right now, but it just doesn't have that charm because it's happening everywhere right now. So if you were to do like a Kolkata elections question, you'd probably do it next year and then. So it just there's no right, wrong, good, bad. It just highlights a sort of new school of thought for me because I've spoken to quizmasters who've told me that they would especially like what one of the first podcasts that we did with Major Chandrakant Nair, who would tell us that I would sit on something for 6 months and then put it for that wow factor to
Correct, correct.
just come about. So it's interesting to find another school of thought to exist in the same small sphere of quizzing. So yeah, it's a brilliant takeaway for me. But yeah, any other interesting choices that you would have made as far as this question is concerned?
Uh, No, I thought, I mean, the only other choice probably the image again, but that is in the answer slide. You can't give it that in the question slide again. And the video was obviously an added perspective to all of that. And without the video, I mean, I wouldn't probably not have made the question, right?
Also, it's fairly simple in terms of the second line. When you say the other used to worship, I think there are only so many worshippers that you could boil down to. And then,
Absolutely.
when with the geography, which is the original context that you have already set, you've set that in place. So, anybody down south could probably be eliminated if at all they are one of your guesses
Correct.
in terms of worshippers and so on. So I think that's about it. This is beautiful. I will for the audiences go to the slide number one. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks, Abhinav. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I had a lot of fun learning your mental journeys and otherwise behind putting a question, framing it in a certain manner, and putting it in what sort of a quiz. A lot of learning for me, and I'm sure everybody who's watching this at whatever point they are, if at all they are, and if they're not, it's singularly their loss. So, thanks for doing this. Any parting words?
No, thanks a lot, Jalaj, for firstly selecting me or thinking of me to be part of this series.
It was
It
the
was a lot
FDR
of fun,
question.
obviously.
It was FDR question and the other Phoenix question that I misplaced in my head, but sure, it was singularly that question that had to be out there. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, thanks a lot again for doing something like this, taking time out, and yeah, looking forward to seeing the other quiz masters and how they think, and probably adding some dimension of that to myself and my future questions quizzes.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
a lot.
Thanks, Abhinav. On that note, if you like this, do what you need to do, and yeah, like, share, subscribe, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye bye. I'm
Bye
gonna
bye.
stop recording this and
अंधेरा हो